While humans can only understand the third dimension, there are higher dimensions than ones our mere minds can simply comprehend. And in those higher dimensions, who knows what lies, such as Void Ghidorah, the god of the void, a being beyond our own dimension, and Acheron, the emenator who should not exist, powered by the higher dimensional eon, IX, but who would win if the two were to clash. Before I want to start this video, I want to credit King of the Monsters for the Void Ghidorah scaling. If you want to check him out, his ad is in the description, and his video where most of the Void Ghidorah scaling comes from is on screen right now. But let's start with Acheron. I cover the versus cosmology and scaling a lot more in this video right here, so if you want to hear me go more in depth in this versus scaling, go here. But this time I will actually be going over her hacks, which is quite important. Acheron at the least would be a galaxy buster, being above the other emanators, or at least scaling to them, who have many galaxy busting feats that even lower tier characters have statements on this level of galaxy busting potential. However, it's quite easy to get her higher, due to the fact that her power comes directly from an eon, and even people like Danhung IL, who is definitely below Acheron, have, quote, Long's power incarnate, aka they would subscale to the eons. At the very least, the eons can destroy the universe and create reality itself, which is not only infinite, contains infinite space-time.
While space and time are practically infinite, and yet right here, right now, we find ourselves together. That's the nature of destiny.
Contains several 4D structures within this universe, but each universe is made up and contains infinite of these universes within them, these universes even being called higher dimensional, backing this up. Get it higher with the fact Aha, the aeon of elation, was able to affect the imaginary tree, a structure that transcends the 5th dimensional multiverse, within Honkai that contains infinite of these previously established multiverse. This is consistent as Sparkle fights with Vita, whose mere existence transcends space and time, as well as her mere existence is above the sea of Quanta, making her at least 60 or complex actually. But once again, you can still get them higher. A weaker version of Kiana is said to be equal to the Cocoon of Finality, while a stronger version is directly compared to an Emanator's power. This is once again consistent with the aforementioned Sparkle scaling to Vita, who is stated to be relative to Cocoon to Finality as well. The Cocoon of Finality being the highest structure in the Cosmo, making it once again at least 8th or 9th dimensional. Once again, check out this video for a more in-depth look at the cosmology of this verse. If you believe any of the higher ends for this cosmology, which personally I don't, then you can argue the scaling for this verse would be much higher, such as getting into the high hyper to low outer potential, but I don't think that's consistent. I think it's much more consistent to simply cap these characters at the high ends into complex multi, which is perfectly fine for this matchup. For speed, it's self-explanatory due to her tiering, she would automatically be immeasurable, which statements of herself and Jingli you have backing this notion up. However, something I will be going more in depth on is hacks. Starting off with her blade alone, which can cut through time, space, fate, as well as negate your powers. However, it's not just any simple power negation, it's actually conceptually attacking and negating you, as what it's specifically doing is attacking the path the character is on and severing their connection to it, paths being essentially philosophical concepts. In short, Acheron is cutting through the concept of her opponent's power. This would also make Acheron's attacks non-physical and durability negation, since, well, it can attack non-physical things, and obviously if it's attacking the conceptual power, or you conceptually, that's obviously durability negation. Keep in mind, she can do this whole thing passively as well, as just by existing, she's able to negate or bypass even the Eon's powers, who are the perfect embodiment of their respective concept. Her attacks are also existence erasure on a very high level, and destroy casualty itself, cutting through cause and effect. This is outright referred to as erasure, which makes things as if they never existed. Whatever they have done, will done, or are going to do never happened, and any effect of what they have done never happened. This is to the point where she erased planets and everything about the planet itself and everyone on the planet, where nobody even remembered the planet itself existed. Even memo keepers whose whole job is preserving memories and manipulating them and are pretty much omniscient over the memories they can get, can't remember this. She can also BFR people to the horizon of existence, an endless realm where these manifestations of IX reside, the eon. Even just being in this realm will not only cause it to be attacked mentally in several different ways, from going to sleep to losing your memory to going insane, but also just outright erases you in the same way that Acheron erases people. She's also just casual, and she not only just doesn't show up in Elio's script, which encompasses infinite possibilities, she has no past as it was erased by Nihility when she wasn't an emanator. Next, let's go on to Void Ghidorah's scaling. The avatar of Void Ghidorah alone, just by existing, can illuminate the universe and shake it, already giving us multi-solar to galaxy scaling just by the avatar's presence alone. Earth's beam, that when Ghidorah got weakened in lowered form was able to destroy his black hole, once again another feat in those solar ranges. When Ghidorah is not weakened, he can casually deflect this beam without really doing anything. And Earth was just considered a fine meal to him, which is kind of funny. Even the avatar of Void described as a character who would just devour the universe over time, and in fact destroy space and time just by existing, making his avatar arguably a 4D character. Keep in mind, Void Ghidorah is a character consistent in their true form at least. It's described as a higher dimensional entity, extra dimensional, and even super dimensional, upon several times in his true form, with the laws of this dimension just not applying to him, and this is consistent with the fact he also utilizes supergravity, which is at least 4D. But considering the fact that his avatar is 4D and he definitely transcends his avatar, you can, as well as the fact that supergravity can also be argued off of things such as Heisei supergravity, as the timelines are in fact connected, you can argue Void Ghidorah is at least 5D, if not arguably higher, as these statements just say higher dimensional, extra dimensional, even super dimensional, and not just, oh, he's fourth dimensional. And the idea that he's hunting down Void Ultima, which is referenced in the novel and arguably is backed up by some promotional material. If you want to go for this argument, you can argue he might be higher, but at the least he should be in the 5th dimensional ranges of power or low complex multi. For speed, he would just be immeasurable of what we just previously mentioned, also just kind of ignores speed like Acheron does with his ability to ignore the laws. For hacks, Ghidorah has some interesting evolution or even transcending hacks depending on how you argue it, as the way he gained his true form was evolving into a higher existence and shedding his normal form, becoming pure energy and just ignores things like space, time, and laws. This is interesting as he can actually attack you from a higher dimension or even attack you from a lower dimension, as he kills people via their shadows. His mere existence distorts and erases gravity, space, time, reality, and manipulates them, causing things like time loops. Even his gravity is used to reflect attacks and is more massive than a singularity, with his gravity being, once again, higher dimensional supergravity as well. Ghidorah is also non-physical, as he is a being of pure energy. He can absorb energy as well, as this is how he feeds on Godzilla Earth. Overall, who wins? Obviously, Acheron is higher in terms of dimensionality, and even if you believe the higher ends for Ultima, then you have to believe the higher ends for Acheron, which are higher than even Ultima's higher ends. Both are immeasurable, even assuming an equal stat scenario. Void's attacks just don't really do anything on Acheron. Manipulating and distorting space, time, reality, and gravity, Acheron is acasual, aspatial, and atemporal. And her not really having a past or existence counters that. She is literally quoted as the person who should not exist because she has been erased from existence. She is a paradox. She also just ignores things on a conceptual level, which really isn't good for Void Ghidorah's case. Ghidorah being pure energy obviously doesn't matter when we already discussed how she can attack things non-physically or just attack someone conceptually, which, yeah, Ghidorah has no counter for conceptual attacks or having his powers negated conceptually, sadly. Nothing really he can do about that. She could just slash away his powers, even in the film, how his higher dimensional form was negated. She could do that too. Or probably kill the true form as well. The avatar definitely dies, the true form probably dies as well, especially in an equal stat scenario at that point. And neither can Ghidorah resist being absolutely erased. Maybe some lower levels of erasure, sure, but nothing indicates that she can be erased on the level that Acheron is attacking her at. So with all of this mentioned, Acheron should pretty easily slam, all things considered. If you go with their lowest ends, Acheron out-haxes. If you go with their mid-ends, Acheron outscales and out-haxes. If you go with their higher ends, Acheron outscales, out-haxes, and then some. So, overall, I hope you enjoyed this video, and subscribe as I'll be making more Godzilla and Honkai Star Wars content in the future. For now, peace.